So, for chapter 4, this is all about resident status. Okay, so what we will learn for this chapter is you will able to know what is the meaning of definitions of resident individuals. Okay, the significance of why we want to determine the resident status of an individual, and then the determination of resident status. RS here means resident status, and then the circumstances determining resident status. So now, first of all, the definition of resident individuals. So this is an easy definition. It is an individual that is resident in Malaysia for the basis year for a particular year of assessment. Means that like us lah, we actually as a resident in Malaysia. Okay, it is determined by reference to the number of days a person is present in Malaysia. So how you determine that that person is resident in Malaysia? It is based on the number of days that that person is staying in Malaysia. Okay. So meaning that in this chapter you will have to calculate the number of days that the person staying in Malaysia. Okay. To determine lah whether that person is actually a resident or non-resident. So why significant of resident status means why we want to look at or why we want to determine that person is a resident or non-resident. Okay, first of all, because of the income tax purposes. Okay, so to determine individual's liability to Malaysian income tax, it means that if that person is a resident of Malaysia, so meaning that now the individual is liable to pay tax. And if he or she is not a resident, is not a local Malaysian lah, meaning that dia bukanlah resident Malaysia. So dia tak boleh ataupun dia takkan dikenakan tax or income tax. Other than that, it's related to tax treatment. So maybe the tax rate is different between non-resident and also a resident of Malaysian. Personal relief and also rebate will, sorry, I makan something, so dia macam ada keluar sikit. Apa dia tu? Relief and rebate also different between resident and also non-resident individuals. And also same goes to withholding taxes. So that's why we want to determine whether that person is a resident or non-resident. Okay, because of these two main reasons. Okay. Okay, so how we want to determine the resident status? Okay, make sure that that person is a physical present and not by his nationality, by citizenship. So if he or she is not a national, is not Malaysian, meaning that he is from US ke, from Singapore ke, so make sure that person is physically present in Malaysia. Okay, and then physically present for the basis year preceding and following of the year of assessment. Mean that based on basis year, for example, basis year of 2020, so make sure that person is present physically in Malaysia in that 2020. Itulah tu maksud dia. Okay, if an individual permanently reside in Malaysia, so no issue like us. Kita memang stay in Malaysia, kita memang born in Malaysia, so no issues in determining whether we are resident or not. Okay. However, citizens of Malaysia are not automatically tax resident. So although we are citizen of Malaysia, okay, not every tax treatment can be liable to us. So kita ada kan, kita dah belajar in chapter 1 ada several circumstances or several act that we need to follow in order macam kita nak follow whether kita ni liable to pay tax or not. Right? So on chapter 1 ada juga masuk dalam quiz. Siapa je yang liable to pay tax? So this is circumstances or keadaan when we want to determine the resident status. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections to how we determine resident status of a person. Okay, like I mentioned, it is all based on number of the person stays in Malaysia. Okay, physically present in Malaysia. So maybe today I will cover only for section 718 and a little bit on section 71B. Sikit je lah sebab section 1B ni dia agak panjang sikit. Okay. For section 1A easy, look here. It is when the individual must stay in Malaysia for 182 days or more in basis year. It means that under section 71A, the person staying in Malaysia for more than 182 days. So if that person is staying in Malaysia for more than 182 days, we automatically consider he or she a resident. Okay, sebab dia dah stay in Malaysia for more than 182 days. For example, how you nampak tidak? Okay, for example, here, Augustine, okay, viticulturist, okay, from Australia, was in Malaysia to conduct a research project. His period of stays in Malaysia was as follows. So this is the period of stays, which is from 1st March 2010 until 30th September 2010. So when we calculate the number of days, the number of days is 214. Okay, so in summary, so actually I suggest you to, ni dah terlebih. I suggest you to actually draw a timeline, okay, to allocate whether this person is a resident or not, to nampak lebih jelas lah. So the year of assessment is this year. Is when the person stay in Malaysia, the year, kan? So 2010. So on the year of assessment 2010. So this is the timeline. He, Augustine kan, so he lah, he is staying in Malaysia for more than 240 from first March is here, right? So maybe from the 1st January up to 1st March, dia still in Australia. See? Tak nampak kan? Yeah. Ni. So dia datang Malaysia on 1st March. So daripada Januari to March dia stay in Australia lah. So when we calculate from 1st January to 1st March, they're in Australia for 59 days. And then starting from 1st March up to 30th September, they're in Malaysia for 214 days. And then they go back to their hometown lah, Australia kan, for 92 days here. So is this? So the question will ask whether Augustine will be considered a resident in Malaysia or not. So based on section 13.A punya Act, is Augustine will be considered as resident? Yes, right? Because he is actually staying in Malaysia for more than 182 days dah. Kan? So bila soalan tanya whether Augustine ni a resident or non-resident, okay, you have to answer yes, he is a resident under section 7.1A since he is physically present in Malaysia for more than 180 days. Okay, let's say example number 2. Okay, he's staying in Malaysia, sama lah ini, I rasa ni dia punya answer. Ni soalan, this is the answer. So the answer is Augustine was a resident in Malaysia for the basis year, for the year of assessment to the 10. So actually this is how you want to buat the word as your answer. Okay, because he was present in Malaysia for more than 182 days in the year 2010. Okay, next. Ada example, ni Angeline pula. Tadi Augustine, ni Angeline. I rasa kena buat macam ni. Baru nampak, okay. So, Angeline, a talented self-employed computer program from United States of America, was in Malaysia to carry out contract work for a multinational company. Her period of stay in Malaysia was as follows. Dia bagi 2010 sampai 30th June 2010. And then another one is August until 30th September 2010. So kena kira asing lah sebabnya until 30th June tu maybe dia balik dia punya US. Okay, and then datang balik on August. Kan? So you have to calculate separately. Okay, let's say like in a timeline of 2010, year assessment 2010, starting from 1st January 2010 up to 1st March 2010, she is still in USA. Okay, and then she's staying in Malaysia. She went to Malaysia on 1st March. So the number of days she stayed in Malaysia is 122 days lah. And then like I mentioned, she went back to US kan for 21 days. And then she went again to Malaysia on 1st August 2010 sampai 30 hari 9. Okay, so and then she went back to US. So here I highlighted in yellow here. She in Malaysia for 122 days and then in Malaysia again for 61 days. So the question will ask the same, whether Angeline is a resident or non-resident. So the answer is here. Angeline was a resident in Malaysia for the basis year for the assessment 2010. Why? Even though this is not a consecutive days. I mean, the day tu dia bukan dekat Malaysia sepanjang hari for more than 182 days. Maksudnya dia tersekat-sekat lah macam ni. Dia pergi Malaysia, lepas tu dia balik US, lepas tu datang balik Malaysia. Macam tu. So tersekat-sekat macam ni lah. Maksudnya tak cukup 182 hari dia duduk dekat Malaysia. Tapi dia still within the year of assessment. We still in the same year of assessment 2010. Even though it is not consecutive day, okay, when you add this both day, 122 plus with 61, you will get 183 days. Okay, so the total here, the total number of days in year of assessment 2010 is still more than 183. So under section 7.1a, Angeline is considered as a resident in Malaysia. So that's why ada note kat bawah ni. Okay, the period of stays in Malaysia does not have to be consecutive day. Consecutive day in Malaynya hari berpanjangan. Macam mana cakap? Dia bukan ada kat Malaysia continuously. I pun dah tak nak. Yes, continuously. Bukanlah dia kena duduk kat Malaysia tanpa balik ataupun tak balik. Macam tu lah. Continuously lah. Okay. Itu dah bukan under section 7.1a. Itu ada section lain dah. Tu nanti kita tengok macam mana dia punya syarat. Ya, tadi ada soalan ke?
Miss, kalau contoh dia datang kat Malaysia 2010 and then after 1 year or after 2 years baru dia datang balik, so tu tak kira lah.
Kalau in 2010 tak cukup lah, maksudnya tak cukup 182 hari and then dia datang next year. So kira consider on 2010 dia bukan resident di Malaysia lah. Unless kita akan tengok syarat yang lain, ada section 7.1a, section 7.1b semua tu kan. Dia ada beberapa syarat yang maybe we be considered you as a resident, tapi not under section 7.1a, maybe under section 7 lain. Okay, itu nanti kita akan tengok lebih detail lah. Means under section 1a, dia punya syarat, the rule is you have to stay in Malaysia for more than 182 days for that year of assessment. It is not necessary continuous staying in Malaysia continuously lah. Macam tu. Okay. 7.1a, dia punya that person need to stay in Malaysia for more than 182 days. So for section 7.1b ni, basis year for a period of less than 1 year if the person stay in Malaysia for less than 182 days. Okay, so what happened? So and that period, other period day than 182 days tu refers to such period. I terus in summary, dia akan bagi 2 period. Okay, one period akan call as that period, another period akan call as such period. So that period in Malaysia for less than 182 days. Okay, and that year 7.1b. Okay, such period pula refers to the period of 182 days or more. Maksudnya such period tu is a period when the person stay in Malaysia for more than 182 days. Okay, and that period yang kita consider dia as a such period, banyak pula. Kita boleh link to or link by. Link to or link by. Apa nanti kita tengok contoh. So this year is not resident under section 7.1b. dia dah stay in Malaysia for more than 182 days. So dia resident under section 71A, betul? Sebab dia dah stay in Malaysia for 182 days. So itu kan section 71A tadi. So yang such period tu dia bukan resident, not resident under section 71B. Tapi dia resident under section 1A sebab